Have you ever noticed a disturbing trend in your YouTube recommendations? It seems like every other video is predicting some kind of global catastrophe. Let's talk about why your YouTube feed is obsessed with the end of the world. What drives this constant stream of apocalyptic content? Is it just a reflection of our anxieties, or is something more sinister at play? We're going to delve into the mechanics behind these recommendations and explore why doomsday scenarios are so prevalent. You know the videos mushroom clouds, often poorly photoshopped and alarmingly frequent. These thumbnails are designed to grab your attention, preying on your deepest fears about global conflict and instability. Red arrows pointing at maps, highlighting supposed threats, and generally creating a sense of impending doom. These visual cues are strategically placed to trigger an immediate emotional response. And titles screaming, "It's happening," "W3 is here," or some other equally terrifying pronouncement. The all caps and excessive exclamation points are a clear indication that the content is designed to shock and scare, rather than inform. These creators claim to be the only ones, the brave few, telling you the real truth, the information that the mainstream media is supposedly hiding from you. They position themselves as whistleblowers, revealing secrets that powerful forces don't want you to know, while everyone else is asleep, blissfully ignorant of the impending danger. This creates a sense of urgency and exclusivity, making viewers feel like they are part of a select group in the know. They thrive on fear because fear is a powerful motivator, presenting wild conspiracies as urgent warnings, often with little to no factual basis. They connect disparate events with tenuous links, creating a narrative of impending doom that is both compelling and completely unfounded. The more outrageous the claim, the more unbelievable the scenario, the more clicks, and the more the algorithm rewards them. Engagement is the name of the game, and nothing drives engagement like fear and outrage. Watch one video about a border skirmish, a seemingly isolated incident, and suddenly your feed is a doomsday bunker, filled with recommendations for survival gear, geopolitical analysis from questionable sources, and endless speculation about the next global conflict. It's not about informing you, it's not about providing accurate or balanced information. It's about keeping you anxious and glued to the screen, constantly refreshing for the next piece of alarming news. Tonight, we'll break down the most viral World War III scenarios, the ones that are currently dominating the algorithm, and see how much substance they really have, examining the evidence or lack thereof that supports these claims. We'll separate fact from fear-mongering, dissecting the narratives and exposing the manipulative tactics used to spread these anxieties, using logic and actual evidence, not just speculation and conjecture, because the world is complicated, full of nuances and complexities that are often ignored in the pursuit of sensationalism. But it's not the horror show these clickbait merchants want you to believe. It's time to take a critical look at the information we consume and resist the urge to succumb to fear. The "don't trust anyone" mantra is the conspiracy theorists' favorite trick. It's a foundational principle, a cornerstone upon which they build their entire worldview. This constant skepticism, this ingrained distrust, becomes the lens through which they interpret every event, every piece of information. They tell you to reject the news, to dismiss the findings of experts. They want you to believe that mainstream sources are inherently biased, corrupted, or simply misinformed. And government. They paint a picture of shadowy figures pulling the strings, manipulating events from behind the scenes. They claim that those in power are not to be trusted, that their motives are always suspect. Then, paradoxically, they insist you trust only them. They position themselves as the sole purveyors of truth, the only ones willing to expose the real story. It's a clever sales pitch, a carefully crafted strategy designed to win you over. They're essentially saying, everyone else is lying to you, but I'm here to tell you the truth. They tear down your trust in institutions, systematically dismantling your faith in established systems and authorities. They erode your confidence in the very foundations of society. Then, they sell you their own authority, positioning themselves as the new source of truth, the reliable voice in a world of deception. They offer themselves as the antidote to the perceived corruption and misinformation. This works because people feel let down by leaders and media. There's a growing sense of disillusionment, a feeling that those in power are not serving the best interests of the public. So the conspiracy theorist offers a simple answer, a clear and concise explanation for complex events. They provide a narrative that is easy to understand, even if it's based on speculation and conjecture. They're all lying, they declare, casting a wide net of suspicion and distrust. This blanket statement becomes a convenient way to dismiss any information that contradicts their narrative. Suddenly you're part of the enlightened group, privy to secret knowledge that the rest of the world is blind to. This creates a sense of belonging and validation, a feeling of being special and in the know, isolated from everyone else. This isolation reinforces their beliefs, making them less likely to question the narrative they've embraced. Any evidence against their claims? Any facts that contradict their theories? Just more proof of the cover-up. Any dissenting voice, any contradictory evidence is simply dismissed as part of the grand conspiracy. It's a closed loop, a self-reinforcing system that is virtually impossible to break, where fear is the product and you're the customer. They capitalize on your anxieties, feeding you a constant stream of alarming information designed to keep you hooked. Recognize this trick before you buy into their stories. Be aware of the tactics they use to manipulate you and question everything you hear. The "don't trust anyone" narrative isn't about truth. It's not about seeking genuine understanding or promoting critical thinking. It's about control. It's about gaining influence over your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions. They want to own your reality, to dictate how you perceive the world around you. They seek to shape your understanding of events, to control the narrative that defines your life. With that in mind, let's look at their favorite theory, a cornerstone of many conspiracy narratives, the false flag. The term false flag gets thrown around online constantly, especially in the wake of major events. It's become a go-to explanation for some, a way to instantly dismiss official narratives and propose a hidden, more sinister truth. But what does it really mean, and how plausible are these claims? At its core, the false flag theory suggests that governments secretly orchestrate attacks on their own people, or stage events to look like attacks, all to justify going to war or implementing some other policy agenda. It's a concept rooted in historical instances of deception and manipulation, where nations have indeed used covert operations to achieve their goals. Today, conspiracy videos claim that every major explosion, every act of terror, every significant conflict is an inside job, meticulously planned and executed by those in power. These videos often present a narrative of complete control, suggesting that governments are capable of manipulating events on a grand scale. But today, we live in a world saturated with information. Smartphones are ubiquitous, capturing events from every angle. Satellites constantly monitor the Earth, providing a bird's-eye view of everything that happens. Pulling off a massive false flag operation in this environment is nearly impossible. The level of coordination, secrecy, and control required would be astronomical. Thousands of people would have to be involved, and all of them would have to stay silent indefinitely. Satellite images, which are readily available to the public, would need to be faked or altered on a massive scale, a task that would require immense resources and technical expertise. And not a single whistleblower could come forward, no disgruntled employee, no remorseful participant willing to expose the truth. The silence would have to be absolute. Commercial satellites, open-source intelligence gathering, and the relentless work of investigative journalists make maintaining such secrecy nearly impossible in the modern age. Yes, governments are capable of manipulating information and shaping narratives to suit their interests. We only need to look at the Iraq War and the faulty intelligence surrounding weapons of mass destruction to see how governments can misuse information. But manipulating information is not the same as staging elaborate attacks and deceiving the entire world. The sheer logistics of faking a modern military incident, with all its moving parts and interconnected systems, are simply absurd to contemplate. So the next time you see a YouTuber claiming that a major conflict or event is a false flag operation, take a moment to ask yourself, where is the real verifiable evidence to support this claim? And why is the only proof being presented coming from someone who is actively monetizing their content through platforms like Patreon? Remember, extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, not just speculation and conjecture. Don't let wild, unsubstantiated theories replace critical thinking and common sense. Some go further, claiming wars themselves are staged with crisis actors. They point to out-of-context clips, protests, green screens, movie sets, as proof that all war footage is fake. But faking an entire war would require millions of people, fake armies, and global silence from families and journalists. It's logistically impossible and deeply disrespectful to real victims and reporters risking their lives. These claims rely on media illiteracy and cruelty, not evidence. Real suffering isn't a hoax. Dismissing it for a tidy narrative is a failure of empathy. Don't fall for it. The ultimate fear-mongering card? Nuclear war. Every crisis brings a flood of imminent nuclear apocalypse videos. But the reality is mutually assured destruction, MAD, keeps nuclear powers in check. No leader wants to sign their own country's death warrant. Even at the height of the Cold War, leaders found ways to de-escalate. There are strict protocols and safeguards to prevent accidental launches. The idea of a single madman starting World War III is a movie trope, not reality. Nuclear weapons are a real threat, but all-out war between major powers is highly unlikely. Viral panic is about clicks, not expert analysis. Don't buy a ticket to their disaster movie. So why do these wild scenarios go viral? Our brains are wired to notice threats. Fear grabs attention. Social media algorithms feed us what keeps us watching, and nothing works like fear and outrage. Click one scary video, and the algorithm floods you with more. This distorts your sense of reality, making the world seem far more dangerous than it is. Fear-based content creates echo chambers, drowning out calm, rational voices. Conspiracies offer simple answers and a sense of control in a chaotic world. But that secret knowledge is just a comforting illusion. Don't let the algorithm decide what you believe. This isn't about pretending the world is safe. Real threats and conflicts exist. But viral panic flattens every event into apocalypse now. A border clash isn't World War III. A military drill isn't an invasion. The internet loves binary drama, peace or total destruction, but reality is complex, slow-moving, and rarely cinematic. Remember all the failed doomsday predictions? The world keeps muddling through. Global institutions, for all their flaws, help prevent disaster. The real threats, climate change, pandemics, inequality, are less dramatic but far more important. Viral fear distracts us from the real work. Don't let clickbait steal your focus. The world's problems are real, but they're not always the ones trending online. Stay grounded. So how do you stay informed without falling for fear-mongering? Arm yourself with skepticism, especially when content makes you feel strong emotions. Ask, who's telling me this and why? Are they credible or just chasing clicks? If someone's selling survival gear alongside their news, that's a red flag. Notice how the information makes you feel. Fear and outrage are tools of manipulation. Seek out sources that challenge your assumptions, not just confirm them. Don't rely on a single feed. Read widely, check facts, and consult real experts. It takes effort, but the payoff is a clearer, calmer view of the world. Share this message, comment with your thoughts, and keep questioning. Never stop seeking the truth.